Hey there, bookworms. Welcome to Pouring Over Books, a podcast where we dive into the books we love and maybe a few we didn't. I'm your host, LaShawn, and every week I'll be deep diving into what I'm reading, recommendations, and talking about all the things that we love about books. So grab your favorite coffee or tea, find a cozy spot, and let's get ready to pour over some great books together. Hey, friends. Welcome back to the Pouring Over Book podcast. I am LaShawn, your host, and today we're going to talk about one of my favorite bookish things, Kindle Unlimited. But before we get into that today, I want to say we had here in Atlanta, if you get anything, is usually a dusting or sleet that turns into black ice or snowmageddon. And we got a nice regular 2 to 4 inches of crunchy, fluffy snow. It was perfect. And now it's gone, which is also perfect because I live on a hill and the hill does ice. So we were happy that the sun came out and the temps went up and that it melted so that we could actually leave our hill. But I mention it because after my son and I frolicked in the snow, I came back inside and I read a book. Not the one I was supposed to be reading, but one I plan to do a review of after I wrap my head around it a little bit more. Have you ever read a book and then you have to sit with it, 1, to make sense of it, 2, to decide if you really liked it, and 3, to give it a fair rating? Because my initial reaction is iffy. This is what comes from forcing myself to read books outside of my comfort zone or books that I know that are not easy. But that's growth, friends. That is what I'm aiming for this year in my reading life. So, that's a good thing. Those advanced copies, I know people are always talking about, I want to get advanced copies, but those advanced copies and reviews are not all sunshine and rainbows, friends. But I digress. Anyway, I had to have a palate cleanser, a nice romance book that I got off Kindle Unlimited, which leads me to our topic of the day. So welcome to the world of Kindle Unlimited, friends. For those of us who read like it's a contact sport, there is nothing better than Kindle Unlimited. Trust me. Kindle Unlimited is every single thing. There are a ton of great books that you have unlimited access to, and today's episode is going to tell you all about that and how you can take advantage. I'll be sharing some of my favorites that are on the app right now that I'm going to recommend. Notice that I said right now because although it tends to be pretty stable when it comes to what books are on Kindle Unlimited, some of the more popular ones get changed out. Like they have a set of books I think that always remains on Kindle Unlimited, but then some of the newer books do get switched out quite a bit. So if a book I mentioned during this podcast is not there when you listen to this episode, it's because they've taken it off. But never fear, there is always something to read on Kindle Unlimited. So what is Kindle Unlimited? With a Kindle Unlimited subscription, it's through Amazon. Yes, Amazon. But with a Kindle Unlimited subscription, users can read the available books on any Kindle device, as well as on the Kindle app, which is available on smartphones, tablets, and computers. The service also supports WhisperSync, which is my absolute favorite part of it, which means you can seamlessly switch between reading an ebook and listening to the corresponding audiobook version on Audible if available. I did this recently with the book Quicksilver, and I love how the two sync and one picks up where the other one left off. So it was like I was continuously reading a book. And I did that with the last Crescent City book because I was waiting on my book to come in the mail. And so I started off on audio. And then during the day, I would switch to Kindle Unlimited. And then when my physical book came, I kind of switched. So I used all 3 at that point, but that's a discussion for another day. Anyway, Kindle Unlimited is a borrowing model, which means that you can borrow up to 20 titles at a time. And once you reach that borrowing limit, you need to return a book before you can borrow another. I am constantly at my 20 book limit. But anyway, however, you can keep the books as long as you like on your device. So unlike the library where eventually you have to return the book, Kindle Unlimited, you don't. I have had a book on Kindle Unlimited that I have borrowed since 2023. I refuse to put it back because I'm about 75% way through and I will finish it one day. At this point, I'm just going to have to go back and start all over because basically forgotten everything that happened. But it is important to note that while Kindle Unlimited offers a large selection of books, it does not include every book available for your Kindle. Some publishers and authors choose not to participate in the program, so not all books on Amazon are available through Kindle Unlimited. It is a monthly subscription. The price is $11.99 a month, but there is always a trial. Is it worth the price? Yes. Considering that an ebook these days costs anywhere from $1.99 to $14.99, if you read and swap out all your books every month, you save a ton of money. Even if you only read and swap out, say, one book, you've paid for the subscription most likely. It saves a ton of money. And there's always a good deal. Like I said, there's always a good deal on a trial for Kindle Unlimited. If you go through the link in the show notes, there is a deal up right now. But link in the show notes if you just want to try it out, for a month or 3 months just to see if you like it. So anyway, let's talk about some of my favorite books on Kindle Unlimited that I want to recommend. Like I said before, remember that Kindle Unlimited sometimes switches books in and out. So if it's not available on Kindle Unlimited, it was just time for it to go. But anyway, let's get into it. All right. The first book or books I want to discuss are The Fourth Wing and Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. I mention this is because neither one of these books are usually on Kindle Unlimited. This is one of those instances of books that are on Kindle Unlimited that won't be for long, but they are right now because the third book of this wildly popular series comes out next week. So I have both of these books in hardback, but if you are just getting around to the series, this is the perfect time to download both of these books on Kindle Unlimited, just so you can take your time and read them. Because remember, you don't have to return these books anytime soon. So you can borrow these books and get into them and decide if you want to even continue with the series, or if you've been late like me and you're just, getting around to reading the second one and you need to reread the first one, but, you borrowed it from the library perhaps, and so you don't own a copy. This is the perfect way to get into the series. Join our world of dragons and their riders in this slightly steamy and hot romantasy full of dragons and sexy shadow daddies. Yeah, do it. We will discuss Fourth Wing in full for a future episode. Never fear. The second book that I want to talk about that's on Kindle Unlimited is The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. If you are looking for a thriller, check out The Boyfriend. This was one of my favorite thrillers last year, and I was so wrong the entire time on who I thought the villain was. It's a quick read for a rainy weekend. Perfect. The third book I want to recommend is actually a set of books. It's Liz Tom Ford's Windy City series. If you're looking for romance, these hockey romances, I think they are so steamy and spicy, but they have a plot. My favorite type of romance. Personal faves in this series are Caught Up and Play Along, because those are about two brothers. And especially Play Along. Play Along is my absolute favorite so far. I waited the entire series for that character. The next book comes out this year, and actually his character is the other one I've been waiting for. So I really like finding a series on Kindle Unlimited, and there are lots of series on Kindle Unlimited that are you can just read the whole series. We'll talk about that too on a future episode. The fourth book on Kindle Unlimited that I want to recommend is All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Crosby. This was a sleeper hit last year that I haven't read, but that is on my own TBR. The premise: Titus Crown is the first Black sheriff in the history of Sharon County, Virginia. And in recent decades, Sharon has only had 2 murders. After years of working as an FBI agent, Titus knows better than anyone that while his hometown might seem like the land of moonshine, cornbread, and honeysuckle, secrets always fester under the surface. Then, a year to the day after Titus's election, a school teacher is killed by a former student, and the student is fatally shot by one of Titus's deputies. Those festering secrets are now out in the open and ready to tear the town apart. This book was on a lot of must-reads last year, And S.A. Crosby is becoming a must-read thriller guy for now. I mean, people are always talking about his books. I personally have a goal to go back, if I like this book, to go back and see if I can read his backlist. And he has a new book coming out this year that I put on my most anticipated books list this year. You can check that out in the last episode. Now, the next book on our list is a classic, The Handmaid's Tale, a dystopian novel by Margaret Atwood. Women are stripped of their rights and freedoms in the Republic of Gilead, a totalitarian regime that has overthrown the United States. It sounds so familiar, doesn't it? It almost hits too close to home, but I digress. But if you've seen the, Hulu series, or if you've heard of it, or if you're just curious, everyone should read The Handmaid's Tale. I read that in high school and never thought anything like it come true. Here we are. Anyway, The Perfect Marriage is our next book by Geneva Rose. It is another thriller. A high-powered defense attorney must defend her husband, Adam, when he's accused of murdering his mistress. Yeah, it was a good one. Pissed me off, but it was a good one. The next book I want to talk about is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. Jemisin? Yeah, it's Jemisin. This dystopian sci-fi fantasy, it is all of those. It takes place on the planet prone to cataclysmic events called seasons. The story follows three women, Esun, Demaya, and Sinite, who possess the ability to manipulate geological force. This is the book, friends, that has been in my Kindle library for 2 years, since 2023. I am determined that I am going to finish it this year, come hell or high water. It's a whole series. And I have heard a lot about her and her books. And since it's like sci-fi, fantasy, dystopian, all the things that I really like, and I want to read different things this year, I am determined to finish that series. All right, the next book that I want to recommend on Kindle Unlimited is The Silent Patient by Alex, Michael Milades? I think that's how you pronounce his name. It's a psychological thriller about Alicia Barrison, a renowned painter who shoots her husband 5 times in the face and then refuses to speak. Theo Faber, a criminal psychotherapist, becomes obsessed with understanding Alice's silence. He believes he can break through her defenses and uncover the truth behind her actions. This was really, how can I put it? It's one of those books where I was reading it and I kept saying, okay, it feels like it's building up to something, but I don't know what. And then there was a twist, and I was like, oh, but it was a good book. It was a good book. The next book that I want to recommend that's on Kindle Unlimited right now is Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. Long Shot was actually the first novel I read by Kennedy Ryan, and it is hard. Trigger warning for this book is that it contains domestic sexual abuse, not involving the hero, but it is on the page, descriptive. But it is a beautiful love story between our two main characters, and it is what put Kennedy Ryan on the map for me because it's just one of her best. You got to go read it. It's a lot of drama and it's a lot of, ooh, Jesus, and you just want to cry for her, but it is so good. And the last book, ending on a better note, the last book that I want to add on your radar from Kindle Unlimited is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. Part of Your World is the story of Alexis Montgomery, a successful ER doctor from a wealthy family, and Daniel Grant, a small-town carpenter and mayor. Their paths cross unexpectedly when Alexis gets stuck in a ditch near Daniel's town. Despite their vastly different backgrounds, they form an instant connection. However, their relationship faces challenges due to their age difference. It really wasn't that much of an age difference. Alex's demanding career and the pressure from her family. This is actually one of my favorite books of hers. All her books are kind of sort of interconnected. Like they have Easter eggs from other characters that drop in, which is one of the things I love about her books. And I can't wait to see how her new book connects to all the other ones. But anyway, this is one of my favorite books of hers. And every once in a while, one of her books is on Kindle Unlimited. And this is the one that is on there right now. And one that I would recommend to read. So friends, if you choose to check out Kindle Unlimited, I hope that the books I've talked about today help you get started using the app. It really is, I guess you say, one of my favorite things besides the library. I've discovered so many authors on Kindle Unlimited that they are now my faves, and I look forward to when they have a new book come out because I know it will be on Kindle Unlimited, mostly in the romance category, which, like I said, will have to be a whole separate episode with my friend Emily. She's my bookish bestie. She's coming on soon because we are going to talk about romance, and because the both of us have a lot to say, chat messages, we voice message. And so we were like, I was like, this just needs to be a podcast, girl. So soon we will talk romance with you about that. That is my favorite category on Kindle Unlimited. The second favorite category, of course, is fantasy or slash romantasy, because there are a lot of romantasy series on there to be discovered that are actually really, really good. Like Clarissa Barnhart, just run to it. Anywho, so that is my pitch for Kindle Unlimited. I hope I have convinced you to go and try it. Remember, you can go to the show notes and click on the link there and get, a free trial so that you can start up with Kindle Unlimited. Anyway, let's get to what is currently going on here. Over here, I want to stop and take a note about the fires in California. In the show notes, have also left a link for the World Kitchen for you to give donations if you want to help. Remember, if you are in the California area, there are plenty of legit ones out there where you can donate food, you can donate clothes, especially. You can donate time, you can donate money. Do what you can. There are people, not just rich people, and even if it is rich people, when someone loses their home, they lose a lot. People have saved, scrimped, and dreamed about having a home, and when they lose it, they not only lose the home, they lose things in them. They lose their photos, they lose family heirlooms, they lose their lives. And a lot of the communities there, they're older people too, who, they're not going to be around at this point to see it rebuilt because the whole infrastructure is gone. So I hope that we all can have some compassion and donate if you can. So anyway, on a lighter note, I started currently reading. Let's talk about that. I started reading Death of the Author because it does come out today. And it is good. I read the first 2 chapters and it was good. And I was really into it, but I had to put her down to finish Fourth Wing and start on Iron Flame because the third book, like I said, comes out next Tuesday. My book will probably be here Tuesday and Wednesday because I pre-ordered it because I wanted the sprayed edges. Yes, I am that girl. I want my books to match. So I'm fully okay with it coming sometime next week. Does not have to come on the day that the book comes out because I probably will not be finished reading because I am easily distracted by other books. But I'm trying to stick to my TBR that I made for myself this month, but it's not working, friends. I've already deviated twice. But I have to read that Fourth Wing, I have to read all of the Fourth Wing books because the spoilers are rampant right now, even for the second book, which I have not read. So I have had to avoid some of my favorite creators and Bookstagram and Threads people because it's just so many spoilers. And I don't want to get spoiled. So I'm just going to go ahead and read all 3 books. I'm currently loving Pilates class. I started taking reformer Pilates class here in my neighborhood, and it is hard. I've always thought Pilates in general was hard, but I thought using the reformer would make it a little easier. It did not, but I like it because it supports my joints and things better than when I was doing it at home. Plus now I have direction and someone actually correcting my form. Last night, things I thought I was doing right. No. Who knew that holding your feet a certain way was the key to a lot of things? But anyway, I like it. It's hard, but I need to strengthen my core because of some back and hip issues. And plus a strong core equals a strong runner, which leads me to currently thinking about my next race. Friends, I am not a runner. I'm just a girl who hates running but keeps entering races with her friends. I don't know how it happens. Anywho, my friend Carly is currently trying to talk me into a half marathon in October. I'm only considering because it's Disney, fam, and I love Disney. I mean, who wouldn't want to drink and eat around the world after you run 13.2 miles? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So right now I've been saying no. Like I can honestly tell you I will never, hear me, never, ever run a marathon again in life. Like, no, 26.2 miles won't see me. But 13 might. So we'll see. We'll see. I'd rather a 10K see me, and they do have a 10K that weekend. Like the weekend, it's a 5K, it's a 5K on Friday, a 10K on Saturday, and the half is on Sunday with a big party Sunday night after the marathon. I mean, the half marathon. And the 10K would be perfect for me, but I don't know if I want to spend all that money to go down there for a 10K. Decisions. Anyway, that is all for this episode, friends, of Pouring Over Books podcast. So don't forget, if you like this episode, please tell a friend. Even better, leave a review on Apple or Spotify. It helps me get noticed in front of more bookish friends so that we can have a bigger party every week when I release these episodes. That is all. Like I said, next week is the lovely land of Fourth Wing. I think I'm going to do a Fourth Wing introduction post for people who have never read the series and who don't understand the hype. If I love it, you must too, friends. And plus, one of my goals with this podcast is to introduce people to writers and books and genres that they might not normally read. I am a Black girl who likes to read, and I am a Black girl who likes to read romantasy, fantasy, thrillers, romance, general fiction, literary fiction, books by Black authors, books by non-Black authors, books by LGBTQIA friends plus friends. I read it all, and I know that there are more out there like me. And so I just want to show you that you can read whatever you like, because books are good, but we really do need to read books by marginalized writers more. And I'm rambling. But anyway, let me go, and I will talk to you guys next week. All right. Bye.